Does that mean go? Okay, cool. Yeah, no, it's a bit rough this morning. Yeah. In the studio. But good morning, good morning. Welcome to the Wednesday warm-up. I'm your host, Lee. I'm out of breath also. Because it was quite a mission to get settled in. I'm still not settled in. And I apologize for those of you for the unprofessionalism that's happening around here. But yeah, I mean, if you heard that laugh, you should know where the danger is. But good morning and welcome to the Wednesday warm-up. Let me get my head in the game and wrap it real quick.
Yes. Put a turban on it, please.
Yeah, no, I've got to, a duck one. Not even a turban, just the old duke. I need to wrap my head in a duke this morning.
Now it's called a do-rag, okay?
No, a duke. I don't wear do-rags.
It's offensive to say you're wearing a duke, my bro.
Yeah,
you cultural appropriation.
Cultural appropriation. But thank you so much for joining us. I am your host, Lee. For those of you joining for the first time, that is who I am. Just Lee. You can call me Lee.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, I am here today. And then I am joined by my trusty psychic. I just want to say the Tani's favorite trio is back this morning.
Yes,
we is back and we is better. And yeah, I just want to say for anybody who's watching this around the office, if you find my phone, please keep it with you. I've been looking for my phone and I think I might have misplaced it somewhere. But anyway, good morning, Jezo. Thank you. Hello. Good
morning, Lee. How are you, girl? Clearly, not doing well this morning.
No.
It's going down.
Yeah.
Hey, the girl is all over the place today, but it's alright. Things will work out.
Amen.
Just stay focused. Come and give you a word of encouragement.
Look
at me. Look at me when I talk to you.
Okay. Encouragement.
Things will work out.
You guys are dumb.
Amen.
Things will work out.
Amen. Thank you.
But yeah, like you said, we have the Tani's favorite here today. Men's is off for I don't know, maybe 3 months, 4 months now, not going to work.
Wow.
Loafing around.
Loafing, he says. Wow, interesting.
So he decided to come
Tell him
pla
like it
us
is.
today.
Yeah, just tell him like it is.
I come back.
And this is my brother. Satani.
Yay!
Good morning, Justin. The Tani's favorite. How are you this morning?
Good morning, guys. Liquor. I am excited to be back. Greetings to everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. I am the Tani's ultimate favorite. That's the point blank rule of the show. So I'm very much. You're very much wow. Fata ANC League colleague, I'm happy to be back and excited for today's topic.
Yes.
The comrade and the comrade and the pastor came through his. I thought he was gonna say, "I greet you all in the wonderful name."
Bro, I was like stucking like for a
and
good 5 seconds.
Then someone changed it to my fellow South Africans. Hey.
I greet you in the wonderful name of our fellow speaker.
Yay. MP of the house.
But it's nice to have you here this morning, Justin,
Thank
to
you.
discuss this very heavy topic.
Yeah.
Are you excited?
I was actually doing some research last night. And
Were
literally,
you? Were you really?
I was.
Wow.
Or were you watching Netflix?
I researched first and then I watched it.
You can multitask.
Yeah, but like just researching what is offensive. I mean, the list is, it's endless. It's so stupid actually. Small things are offensive.
Yeah.
If you greet someone, for with like colored people, for example, and if you're white or black and you say, "Away, my bro," it's offensive.
Yeah.
If you say to African or other races, like if you greet them in their way and you don't pronounce it properly, it's offensive.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, why is everybody like a touch screen, my bro? They don't. Everything is like you. Does
It's
it?
sensitive,
Daar
ne?
gaan die alarm af.
You see, the thing is, what you must do is you must go to your settings and you must adjust your sensitivity.
And just put it off. Off.
Yeah, people must just adjust their sensitivities, and that is what we're going to get into today. But before we get into that, because we also don't have enough time, to discuss, and our topic, our
we like to
conversations
go
always go
yeah,
over
through,
time,
I
and we
know.
can't do that today. But anyway, first and foremost, we're gonna. In case you didn't know, I don't know where you're watching the shows these past couple of weeks.
Yeah.
We've got a money segment where we discuss like trading and money and markets and things like that.
Okay,
You see, because
I saw that.
we adulting most now, so
Yeah.
we are really just stepping into our adulthood. conclude with confidence and boldness. And on that note, we give it over. Chase, over to you.
Yes, so
Reporting live from
reporting live from the Inside Show. Yeah, so Russia and so MetaTrader 4 and 5 has been banned on iOS platforms. So if you don't know what MetaTrader is,
please explain.
It's a trading platform that all traders use. So basically, the way it works is you have the platform, you have the broker, then you have you. So you have to the broker uses you use MetaTrader, but through the broker. So. Basically, when you go to the broker, you approach the broker, you sign up with them, everything, then they give you login details. Then you have to take that login details to MetaTrader. And you put your login details on MetaTrader, and that's how you get your trading account. But because it's a Russian-owned company, iOS has banned MetaTrader.
Because of the war now.
Yeah, they have banned iOS 4 and 5. Reason being, they're saying that we are still funding the war by supporting Russia. So that's the reason why they have taken it off all iOS platforms. But yeah, we are not in the war, but now we are so...
But that makes me very nervous, eh?
What's this?
Because everything is just against Russia. As if these people don't have,
On that note...
the president is not normal.
On that note, Monday... was it Monday morning or afternoon? Putin actually... He made a claim saying that... Speaking about the nuclear weapons, and the ex-president of Russia came out and said, when Putin says something, it's not a bluff, so you shouldn't take it lightly.
Yes.
So yeah, and
he's not normal, that man, my bro.
And then Monday, US. On Monday also, US Navy SEALs saw Chinese and Russian tankers in the ocean together. They saw them together. So they saw the tankers together in the ocean, obviously. So they don't know what's cooking up
and
there.
Both presidents is not normal.
Yeah, no.
Hi,
yeah, so we reckon something is cooking there, because why would Russia and China be together on the same tankers going in the same direction? So yeah, so they reckon something's cooking there.
The president of China is like 100% supportive of
Russia,
Putin and the war.
Because it's a whole BRICS thing as well. So they're all
and we in that BRICS, nogmaals, just by the way.
Yeah.
We are the S in BRICS.
Yeah, we're the South Africa.
Last week, our president met up with Putin. Singing, hi, Cyril, please, sir, don't even try. Play it by the huis. Play it by the huis. Jy moet nou weer gaan nie. Ons het die ligte nie. Jy wil nou gaan Putin saam sit en bom in die hele country saam in die see. Bom so vir Eskom ook, man. It's nie tyd vir hom.
Yeah, he went to go meet Putin. After that, he went to the Queen's funeral, and then he said he's cutting his trip short to come sort out the Eskom problem. But nothing clearly. Everyone was like, okay, what are we sorting out?
Yeah,
what are you going to generate?
Yeah,
and then also last week, South African inflation rate was pushed up by 75 basis points. So yeah, the inflation rate has been increased in South Africa. So obviously your mortgage and all that things will go up as well. And yeah,
interest
so
rates just
price of living is And then again, last week I spoke about the US dollar that's been rising. The dollar is still rising.
Yes,
so we currently sitting on about 18 rand now.
Huh?
The dollar, yeah.
But I heard on the news this morning that they were saying that we are looking at a global recession.
We are,
close to a global recession.
Most
countries, is going to be quite...
Most countries are already within the recession. So your Eurozones, they're already in recession.
Yes.
Asia, they just declared now, I think it was yesterday, where they declared, okay, they are going into a recession now. And then it doesn't make sense. Everyone's still trying to understand how the US market is still moving so well.
Yes.
When every other country is already on the verge of a recession. Your pound as well. Your pound has dropped. It's been the lowest. I think it's from 1980 something to the dollar. That's the lowest it's ever been in history. That was on Monday when it fell to the lowest ever in history.
Wow.
So the pound itself is just so struggling heavy, and it's just the US dollar that's.
But
that's
why
running.
is it when we become adults then everything must go down, my bro? Wat 'n Titanic gees is die.
It's
just became independent now.
But yeah, so recession will hit soon because in the US it always starts with the housing market. So the housing market has started crashing already. And once the housing market starts crashing, it starts rippling over into everything else. And we should see a recession and a depression.
And the UK is in power cuts at the moment.
Yeah. There's a
Which is
couple of
unfortunate, very unfortunate, but anyway.
there's a couple of countries actually across the globe. I mean, Guerimantashe was saying that South Africa is not the only country that's experiencing.
Oh, so that gives them an excuse to
Yeah.
put the lights off on purpose.
Exactly.
We've been having load shedding when every country's been having lights. On
Exactly.
Scum Fun, we know stage 1, knows it by stage
Ons
11.
kom van ver.
On Scum Fun, hallelujah.
Oh,
But
wow.
yeah, that's basically it from my side. Yeah, so things aren't looking too good. But on the brighter side, if you are into the trading and everything, there's opportunity within the markets at this point in time.
Okay.
You're looking to obviously sell your mortgage market. You're looking to sell there. You're looking to sell all stocks as well. So if
Yeah.
you're looking at your NAS 100, your S&P, and all that stuff,
Okay.
you're looking to sell there as well. You're not looking for buy opportunities because we obviously are going into a recession, and because we're going into a recession, that means stocks will drop as well because people don't have money in their pockets to be purchasing stuff, supporting companies. And
So
all
you're
that.
the bearer of bad news this morning.
So
Is
what does
you're
that
saying?
mean for like traders?
It means people will become millionaires overnight.
Okay.
That's
No,
all we wanted
Vasa
to know.
Ekno
That's
Opno.
all we wanted to know.
How much millions was I
Because-
putting out? to
Look,
get
it's
the
not
millions back?
always. It's not
Viable.
written in paper to say you will, but
Yes.
it's been shown over history.
There's a possibility.
Many a times people have put money in and overnight.
I see.
What's the lowest you can trade?
You depends on what broker you're going with, but if you're going with like it's a South African broker, it's not the best to go with because a lot of them has been taken out of the
Yeah.
market at this point in time. People struggling to get their monies out and all that. But if you do, you're looking at about 20 rand that you can trade with.
Yeah, nee. That's
But
what
you must know your return is going to be very low. So the more the
Saying that we're speaking about money, and to end it off on this note, I was reading something in Business Tech where they said that how much do you need to earn to be middle class in South Africa?
Please
Still
shock
have
me.
that?
Just shock me.
So it says here that the group defines the middle class in South Africa as households with an income of 22,000 rand
We don't have that at the
and
moment.
above.
Going down.
So,
so,
but this is look.
so
It's
basically there's no
households.
middle class anymore.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
either poor or very rich.
100%.
Yeah.
There's no middle now.
I'm so glad that you touched on that because you spoke about there's either poor or there's rich, because that's also one of the topics that I want to discuss this morning, right?
does it.
But I want to read something from so Italy has a new prime minister,
Yes.
and
Yes.
it is a female. Whoo, yay!
Yay.
Okay, cool. And so many media outlets, mainstream media especially, is calling her fascist. This is obviously left-wing media outlets, I must just admit.
Yeah.
Left-wing media outlets are saying that she's a fascist, she's far-right, she's conservative, and, she doesn't deny all those claims.
See, when I buy chicken licken, I always eat a right wing. Never a left.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, no. I never expected it, but I expected it. It's Jesse, okay?
I was going to ask, how do you know if it's a left or right wing?
Dude.
You
You
put them
wing
next to
landed.
each other
Yeah, you
and you see how we like.
So yes, so she's the new prime minister, and her name is Giorgia Meloni. And
Meloni.
so,
Giorgia Meloni.
starting on this note, I just want to read her speech, right, that she made recently. And this is the speech that is trending on your TikToks, on Facebook, on like all over the place. Ne?
Yeah.
And so I'm just going to read an excerpt from that speech that was obviously transcribed because I cannot speak Italian. Okay, so we're going
Are
to...
you sure that is now the correct?
Yes, it is. I watched. I did go fact check it. I went to go look at other like conservative.
Hey,
speeches.
What?
Um,
Transcribed.
It's transcribed into English.
Oh.
Okay.
Not translated.
No, transcribed.
24 restaurants.
Transcribe. Yo. Can we not start on this note, please? We are. Do you know where that? Can I just get into the speech, please, before we get into this? Yes, for So here we go. Right? She says, "Why is the family an enemy?"
Are we gonna read this whole thing?
No, it's not.
It's
It's not this one. It's this thing.
Oh.
Hey, I am offended by your lack in word.
Jy begin eers.
No, I'm just checking because it's like a lot
No,
of
I
pages.
won't read that, man. So here we go. I'm starting from over. Serious face. This is serious. She was serious when she
I'll
said that.
leave you
Okay.
to
So I'm yes with passion. Why is the family an enemy? Why is the family so frightening? There is a single answer to all these questions. Because it defines us. Because it is our identity. Because everything that defines us is now an enemy for those who would like us to no longer have an identity and to simply be perfect consumer slaves. And so they attack national identity. They attack religious identity. They attack gender identity. They attack family identity. I can't define myself as an Italian, Christian woman, mother. No, I must be citizen X, gender X, parent 1, parent 2. I must be a number. Because when I am only a number, when I no longer have an identity or roots, then I will be the perfect slave at the mercy of financial speculators. The perfect consumer. That's why we inspire so much fear. That's why this event inspires so much fear. Because we do not want to be numbers. We will defend the value of the human being. Every single human being. Because each of us has a unique genetic code that is unrepeatable. And like it or not, that is sacred. We will defend it. We will defend God, country, and family. Those things that disgust people so much, we will do it to defend our freedom because we will never be slaves and simple consumers at the mercy of financial speculators. That is our mission.
Man, yeah, jump.
So,
I turn around. That was.
Sien
okay.
jy? Ja, we gaan
there we
we gaan
go.
het.
So, what are your views on this, first and
Hectic.
foremost, right? Before we get into the comments that have been made about this woman. Or should I first get into the comments and then we can discuss it because it gives us some leverage to.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, right.
Before
I
you go,
was-
can we
Yes,
just greet
yeah,
Juan
yeah,
one?
yeah.
Juan one says, good morning, everyone. Ah,
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Good morning, Juan. We just want to say, remember when you were on the last time
And then I
and you were like,
couldn't
Jan,
I couldn't say the person's name.
and you
Wat
blamed
gaan aan met
me.
my English vandag? Ek stak ek nou so nou.
Hectic, brother. What is
Just like
happening?
that. I
What
don't
is
know.
happening? So,
I promise you if I'm with my friends, no, I can't speak English after I'm with them.
it's okay because
There's a problem.
Yeah, English is not. Is it your mother's tongue?
Somewhat so.
It came with the sheep.
Ay,
Remember?
sien jy?
You
So,
do change
listen.
your friends.
Wow. So I was reading, I typed in Giorgia Meloni. And the first things that came up, there was, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There was 5 headlines, right, that came up. 2 from the BBC News. Obviously, that was first, top news. That was the things that
Yeah.
came up first, right? 2 from the BBC News, 1 from The Guardian, 1 from Sky News, and 1 from the Washington Post. So, BBC Newsers listen to the what is it? The headline, right? The headline reads, the first one, Giorgia Meloni, Italy's far right wins election and vows to govern for all. Number 2, from the BBC News, Italian elections, Meloni gets to work on picking right-wing government. Number 3, The Guardian, Italy's Salvini vows far-right alliance will last as Meloni heads for power. Sky News, Italy will move to the right. The question is just, how far? Washington Post, in an opinion piece, says, the danger after
know this.
Giorgia Meloni's win in Italy's shocking elections. The danger.
Oh, wow.
Right? So I'm going to read a piece from that one, the Washington Post, the opinion piece, The Danger Lurks After Italy's Shocking Election. And it's by the editorial board. And it reads as follows. It was posted on the 26th of September 2022 at 2:04 p.m. It reads as follows. Italy has voted for a new government. likely to be led by a Prime Minister whose party arose from the ashes of post-World War II Italian fascism.
Oh, wow.
The rise of Giorgia Meloni, the firebrand ethno-nationalist, seemingly victorious in Sunday's elections, has sent shockwaves through Europe and triggered fears that Italy might be the Achilles heel in Western resolve to resist Russia's bloody campaign in Ukraine. In fact, it would be a stretch to regard Miss Meloni, who would be Italy's first female premier, as a fascist, and having dropped her former admiration for Russian dictator Vladimir Putin, she has been unstinting in backing NATO's support for Ukraine, although the same cannot be said of her probable coalition partners in Italy's legislature. She has also tempered her erstwhile rhetoric, suggesting she would splinter the European Union, possibly because Italy depends on enormous infusions of EU pandemic relief funds. So, a lot of them are saying far right-wing, fascist, conservative, She's inciting fear, and it's just chaos.
You know, I have a problem with the media can blow everything out of proportion. From that excerpt, you get this.
Yeah.
Now it's from Russia, it's Ukraine.
Yeah.
So you're inputting things that was never even touched on, my bro.
Yeah.
What is wrong with these people? And the thing is with the BBC, sometimes I get so frustrated with them, because they contradict themselves.
Yes.
It's like the editors or the people who sit and write the stories don't like each other.
Yeah.
Because then yours comes out and it's right, and then the following day or
Yes.
the afternoon thereof comes another thing that contradicts you completely, and it's still under the BBC.
Yes.
So I don't even get to, when I read these headlines, I think to myself, I'm not even going to take them seriously, because they always contradict each other. The same thing with the Washington Post. Now you're saying somebody that wants to defend family, and if you look at what she says, I don't find a problem with it at all, because she's fighting an institution that has been governing the entire world. Money speaks, whether we
Yes.
like it or not, right? And so not even tackling that, you tackle stupid things. Like now, she wants to be this right-wing, far-wing, she's instilling fear, all of this. We've been living like that for a very long time now. It's nothing new.
Yeah.
The people who run the world in terms of money and stuff has been doing that to us. Because when they decide no, it's no.
Yes.
When they decide yes, it's yes.
Yeah.
So if you speak out against that, then all of a sudden now
It's offensive.
It's
instilling
offensive. You're
fear.
instilling fear. What about that is fear?
Yeah.
In actual fact, she's standing up for what beliefs we've been instilled in when we were kids, you know,
Yes.
taking care of your family, taking care of yourself, making sure that you have an identity, making sure you know who you are so that you can tackle anything that comes your way, you know. It is something
The
we've been taught.
fundamentals.
Yeah. So all of those people who even run the institutions been taught the same thing. Why all of a sudden do you want to change that, and then now you maneuver the entire thing into a different direction? Now all of a sudden there's for war. Now it's post-pandemic. Now it's this. Now it's that. No, tackle what's happening. If you don't agree, you don't agree, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But you don't need to go 10 steps ahead of
And
something.
cancel. Now you want to cancel her. Jess, what do you think about that?
Nah, for me, they are necessary, in all honesty. For me, let's see what she can do. It's a breath of fresh air for Italy as well. It's something that they're not used to. That's
Yeah.
obviously why they're making a big hoo-ha about it, because obviously if you go against the narrative of what everyone else is saying, you're obviously going to be cancelled. You're going to be in the wrong for saying what you want to and all that. But for me, it's a breath of fresh air. We should see what she's capable of doing, and I hope she sticks to her values and her beliefs, and that they don't force her and push her to the extreme again of the leftists to say no, things must be done this way. I hope she's for me, I feel like she will have a backbone in terms of if she's willing to release that already and say, this is my belief, this is what I'm able, this is what I believe in.
And this was during a campaign. It wasn't even when she was.
After, when she
It
was
wasn't
president.
after. It was
I mean,
during a
Prime
campaign.
Minister.
And my thing is, because it was during a campaign, that shows us that yes, there's a lot of people that hates, but then there's a lot of people that agrees with that, that's for it. If they're willing to vote for her and put her in power, then.
And they've already put her in power. It's not like, you know.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying, because that was in the campaign. So people heard this within the campaign, but yet they were still willing to vote for and go with her.
Because
And
people agree.
yeah, a lot of the time you'll find they agree, but they're scared to say anything because of
Cancel culture.
cancel
And you know
culture.
what's interesting is their talents are rooted in tradition. They are so rooted in tradition.
Yeah.
Through the way they speak, through the cooking, through their lifestyles and everything, they're so rooted in tradition. Tradition isn't something new for them.
Yes.
It's been embedded in them. And the same thing I can say for Liz Truss, the new Prime Minister. They also said to her she's a conservative. They also said that her views, as of when she was elected, before the Queen died, that she is a conservative woman who believes in conservative rights, traditions and everything.
Yes.
And the same can be said for the Europeans of the United Kingdom. They are rooted in tradition.
Yeah.
And they embedded that tradition to every country that they colonized. So we know tradition, it's been there, it hasn't changed.
I love that you mentioned that, because that's exactly what I'm going to for this offense thing. Because it's people like you Europeans, right?
Yeah.
And they call them Eurocentric, right? And we can claim to be Afrocentric. But why is it that we find offense for Eurocentrism? Oh wow, Eurocentrism.
It's English today. It's happening.
You see, it's
Girl added extra vowels.
No, guy, I added extra.
Eurocentrism.
What is that? Yeah, we reject Eurocentrism, right? And we celebrate like Afrocentrism because we were the ones that were previously colonized. Like for instance with the Queen, look, I have my quarrel with the UK. I don't have my quarrel with the Queen there, because honestly, like she was very in the early days of the 90s.
Yeah.
She was, well, mid 90s actually, not early days, is when she was when she was queen.
Yes.
And blah 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 blah, and they say like, bring back the diamonds, bring back the things.
I can
Yeah, we
clap those
get that,
people.
ne? We get that, and it's true. I believe that there must be reformation. I believe
Yes.
that there must be restitution. I do believe those things. But it's funny to me that now that everything that is celebrated that is European now becomes offensive to the rest of the world because of our past histories. And the thing is, why is it that, like for instance, let's make a typical example, right? White people cannot celebrate their whiteness in public anymore because they were the previous oppressors. We don't take that away from them. Because now people get offended when a white person celebrates their whiteness. Why are we at that level? That's my question. Why is it that only a certain group of us can celebrate, like for instance with Heritage Month, it was a perfect example. We had 3 shows on the colored identity and it caused an uproar on TikTok, right? Predominantly from our black brothers and sisters that were like, yeah, what is she talking about? She's talking rubbish. So the minute you defend your identity like this woman is saying, you are public enemy number 1. You can't defend your identity of being a brown person in South Africa, whether you want to identify, I don't care if you want to identify as colored, if you want to identify as Khoi, if you want to identify as whatever brown, if you want to identify as mixed, if you want to identify as black, if you want to identify as more European,
Chinese.
It's your deal, it's your business. But why is it that when somebody else stands up for their identity, it becomes offensive to somebody else? I am a colored woman, racially classified as a colored woman in South Africa. But the minute I say that, it's offensive.
It's a problem.
So why is it that only certain people can celebrate their identity
And others can't.
and others can't?
I
Who
always just
lords
say
it
this.
upon
Yes.
people to do that?
My whole thing even on that is just people think that their opinions are right. Everyone has an opinion and everyone thinks their opinion is right. That's the main problem we face in society, right? And if you challenge their opinion,
Yes.
it's a problem. But then when they give you their opinion, they say, no, it's just an opinion. It's not the fact. But then I'm like, but when we give our opinion or anybody else gives their opinion, then it's wrong. So the problem here is just that people want to feel safe in their own skin when it suits them.
Yes.
Because when it doesn't suit them, then it's a problem. Even going on the Khoi heritage, factually, it's the first people that have occupied this entire country, South Africa. It's written. You can't unwrite history that's been preceded by your birth. You weren't even alive at the time that these people were alive, they were living, when Jan van Riebeeck came to South Africa, right? They were there. So their heritage comes from them. So if you're falling under that and you want to identify as Khoi, why is it offensive to you? Because you took the identity on for yourself to say that I'm a white South African or a black South African or a colored South African. So you put your identity and made it yourself.
Exactly.
But yet you want to be offended when other people say, okay, I don't agree with that, I want to be like this.
Yes.
It's the same thing like the US people.
before Jess gets into his comments on this, I want to say this, right? I believe that you should celebrate your identity.
Yeah.
As long as it is not at the detriment
Of someone else.
of someone else's identification.
Correct.
That is my thing. And people don't seem to understand that. For instance, when I said that, and this is the context that I used it in, when I was doing a production one day, we were dealing with race relations and xenophobia and all those things, right? And I was the only person that could really identify as colored, racially classified as colored in the whole entire cast, and the production manager and the whole cast and crew, basically. I was the only one that could identify as racially classified colored. And we're having a conversation because obviously as artists you come together and you discuss the subject matter before you even perform, right? So we do that, we're having a discussion about it, and already I'm excluded from the conversation because firstly I'm a minority, there's 2 white cast members and the rest is black or one guy that was mixed. I'm not too sure how he identifies, would he identify as colored or what, but he was predominantly siding with, I think he's got a lot of black cultural influence, right, growing up. So he would probably identify as black or whatever his identification is. He didn't say it verbatimly, he didn't say it. But then they're having a conversation and it's the black people feel obviously rightfully wronged by the white people, and the white people are quiet. They can't say anything because the minute you say something, watch yourself, watch your racism, watch your racism. So look at that, right? White people can't say anything. Exactly. No, Riet, and alles altwee Afrikaners nog on top
Even
of that.
worse, Buddha.
Yeah, so the thing is, so they were just there, sitting there, not really wanting to say anything. And I all for it. I'm all for the black voices rising up strongly because they were previously oppressed, and I am for it, for standing up and saying, hey, this is the reality that happened. Whether you're feeling uncomfortable or not, this is the truth, and I am all for that. For me, yes, the truth is uncomfortable, but we need to speak it.
Yes,
right?
true.
Now they come in and they're having the conversation and they're like, oh yeah, Leandra, what about you? Oh, now, I'm here.
Ek is wiki.
But before this, there was a comment that was made like, oh, colored people are violent. It's probably the black and white fighting within them, right?
Yeah.
So already, for me, that's an insult.
Yeah.
So you say that. This was the context. I'm building context so that I can tell you what I said that people found offensive, right? So I said that, and then they were like, oh no, but you black. And I was like, hold on. Right? In theory, you call me black. In practice, I'm not black. Because when it comes for jobs, when it comes for quota systems, you're not black.
You're not
and
black.
I made 2 examples 2 weeks ago in the show that we had. It was the Wade van Niekerk. He was classified as we claim him for ourselves. Wade is South African. He's black. Why is the colored people wanting to claim him for themselves? And then there was the other thing. Then there was the other. At the same time, that same year, there was 7 cops, 7 officers in the Western Cape that was denied promotions because they are colored and they are not black. So you see what I'm saying? I'm using practical examples.
Correct.
In theory, I am black when you want me to be, but in practice I'm not. And that is what I was saying about even things like triple BEE. You are excluding a certain group of people. That's the reason why the indigenous Khoisan, not even us mixed people, I'm talking about the ones that still maintain their culture and their heritage, right? That is in Karoo and all those places. Exactly. Those people are rightfully landowners of a vast majority of South Africa, but you want to exclude them from the conversation because, and this is what people do, right? And then the minute you stand up for your identity, you are offensive. Yep. Oh yeah, then people are like, oh, she's trying so hard not to be black. She wants to be so white. What in that did I say that was me trying to be white? You, in your own admission, say that I'm not black when it suits you.
When it suits you.
That was my argument. But no, it's immediately offensive. People are not willing to even get into discourse about it.
And the problem is, again, I say, everyone thinks their opinion is right. You are entitled to an opinion, but you're also entitled to understand that your opinion doesn't matter everywhere. Sometimes it's important to shut your mouth when you don't know things. If you don't know your history, shut your mouth on it.
Yeah.
If you don't know what identity is, keep your mouth shut. If you don't know how to engage in a positive and altering argument that might make sense at the end of the day, shut your mouth. If you want to continuously come from, we're coming from there, and you weren't born there, you never went through all of those things, shut your mouth.
Exactly.
We are in this place where we are moving forward. You can't move forward with people who want to stay in the past. If you want to stay in the past, then you should take a 1924 bakkie en dan ga jy Oranje toe, gaan bly jy daar in Oranje in, where they still maintain that racism thing, right? But if we're moving forward as a country and as a world, you need to move away from the past and keep your mouth shut on things that you don't know anything about. You know?
Oranje is another thing that we don't want to get into today, but it's something that I want to discuss because it's back to this identity thing. Like those people are maintaining their identities, and yes,
they don't have nobody's having a problem with that.
the way that they do it is obviously like wow.
For me, it's the fact that our government has given them still permission, even after post-democracy, right?
Yeah.
You still have. So my point is
But
really.
it's preservation of culture. But anyway, Jess, over to you. What do you think on this topic before we move on to the next?
On what,
headline?
Oranje?
No, just the racial identity thing and identity and of offense and blah blah blah. That things that we were talking about now.
I feel like we went so far to the side that, like, like our brother over there says,
There's no middle.
there's no
ground.
middle ground. It's either you're right or you're
you're
wrong. But
wrong.
even when you're right, you're still wrong.
And even if you're wrong, you can't be right. So
It's a continuous dead end cycle.
Literally.
I feel
And
like
you ask
this guy's
yourself,
like, said it. She said it.
Yeah.
You know.
the old bad boy scene, yeah.
People are waiting for you to say something offensive so that they can just
They
have
can
something
just jump
to say.
on it.
They
yeah.
said like this. Ha! She said
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
TikTok following
And then
this
you,
afternoon.
and then
this
you
is
say
what
it,
she
but
said.
you're right.
Yes.
But you get attacked for being right. And I feel like we've gotten to this point because we've allowed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've literally allowed us to get to this point where everything happens and we're like, okay, now it's fine. Let's include them into the situation as well.
Yep.
Then we move further. Then this one has his thing to say. And we're like, okay, now it's all right. We are open country. Let's invite you. You have your opinion. Your opinions are so right. But his opinion is nonsense. It makes no sense.
But you will
because we trying
You want to
to
fit in. You want to fit in.
because
Yeah.
we're trying to accommodate everyone. That's why I like what the Prime Minister is doing and what she said.
Yeah.
Because the problem comes when you want to accommodate everyone. Yes, we have to accommodate everyone, but yes, there also has to be standards and rules and boundaries in
Boundaries.
place. Where you have to govern by that.
Yeah.
So you can't just say, yeah, but she has to govern for everyone. Yes, we understand that, but there has to be rules and boundaries in place.
Yeah.
And she has her
Correct.
rules and boundaries that
Boundaries in
she's willing to
place.
go
There's
by.
certain fundamental truths that you just cannot stand against.
Yeah.
So yes, we are there for everybody, but you can't run away from certain fundamental truths. And with her, she opens up by saying that the family has become an enemy.
Yeah.
The family structure, the traditional family structure, which you had mentioned earlier, those are the. I mean, if you have a stable home, right?
It's a problem.
You know that it's
It's a problem.
You want to know they are
So your father must be an absent father. He has to go and buy soap and never come home again.
It's like sorry to break
No,
you, but
go.
it's like this. Let's say you have a convict. He went into prison now for molesting a child or something.
Correct.
It's a terrible example, but I'm just going to use it as that, molesting a child or something. You come out. Yes, we accept you. You say you changed in there and everything. But we're not going to put you now as a teacher because now you're going to be
Exactly.
around children. Yes, we
Exactly.
accepted you into that, but there still has to be boundaries in place. You can't now say, yeah, I changed and everything, but we're not going to make you a teacher now.
100%.
No, we're going to go put you there. You will be a builder or something with that
Exactly.
people. That,
Yes.
yes, we're accepting you, but yet there's still boundaries in place.
I agree with that 100%.
My thing is just on the whole family thing. Do you not come from family?
Yeah.
To
You
disagree with it.
Speaking, I have a personal example like that it was a couple of years ago, right? I posted something on my stories on Instagram about my father, and I was just like basically honoring him and saying that I am because of you.
Of you, yeah.
I cannot picture myself being the woman that I am today if I didn't have a stable father in the home, which I'm grateful for, because I know that, many children don't ask for
Yeah.
it to not have a stable father in the home.
Yes.
So I was not trying to speak down on somebody. I was personalizing it for myself and honoring my father.
And it's your father.
And then
Your father.
Another lady that I know that I met in Cape Town when I was living there, she sent me a DM and she's like, but it's not only fathers that raise strong woman.
Your
There's
point
some
is-
mothers. And I was
Your
like,
point is?
so you offended by the fact that I'm honoring my father because my
Your-
father made the decision
Your father.
to be a good father. And my father didn't have a good father. My father came from a home with an abusive father and he
Yeah.
was absent. But he made a decision
To change
end
that
cycle.
narrative.
And now you find it offensive because I'm honoring my father because you
Nee,
didn't
ha
have.
dak ras. That's iets verkeerd aan haar koppen. Because how do you get offended by someone else celebrating their parents? As jy nie normal nie.
Ha, dak
Het jy
lek.
nie parents nie?
Ah, dak lek.
On the next note, right, for instance, like, let's look at the COVID situation, right? And I must touch on this, right, when it comes to offense. So
Yo.
the COVID situation, this now showed, this situation showed people's offense, their sensitivity level on a new level, my bro.
It shows where
We
the
don't-
water drink the
people don't
poker.
people don't have backbones anymore.
When they said
Honestly.
what, remember, I will never forget it. I even put a video out and it's still on YouTube.
Yeah.
It's still on YouTube, nah. When this thing first hit, when we just, in fact, the day before we went into lock. It was March
Yes.
of 2018, right?
2020.
2018, 2019, 2019.
2020 we started lockdown in March.
Was it 2020? No,
Yes.
it was 2019,
No,
my bro.
2020.
Oh, yeah, it was 2020.
Yeah,
my-
March 2020.
I apologize.
It was
I
2020,
apologize.
because I remember
It was
the pastor still
2020.
said 2020.
Yeah. And then I remember
Then we
that.
went into
And then we
COVID.
went into COVID.
2020 sickness.
Yeah. Yo, I rebuked that word, eh? And then, yeah, it was March of 2020. And the day before, that afternoon, I made the video. Before we went into lockdown that evening, right?
Yeah.
And I said, like, I was walking around and I was going to, and my family and I, we had this conversation. Like, my cousin went out to the mall and she's like, she wore a mask. It was the time when nobody wore masks yet.
Yeah.
And I also went to the shop and I wore a mask. And people were like,
They look at you funny.
Het gaan nou met jou aan.
you know, that's, and then
It's an Asian
you know,
thing.
and now exactly, but I decided, I made my own prerogative. I didn't go according to what the CDC said because we must first getting advice from the CDC and then the CDC and then it was World
Daai
Health
CD
Organization.
stakjes nou. Daai CD
No
stakjes,
reels, no
baie
reels.
krapper.
And then it was the World Health Organization that we got advice from, and they were saying no masks. So then our president was like, no, guys, no masks. You don't need masks,
And then
right?
he couldn't
What
even
is
put on
masks?
his mask. Ja, die mask is oor die ore. Easy mask, he said it.
and then that happened. But I decided for myself to wear a mask, right? And my cousin was saying she wore a mask as well when she went to the mall, and people were like looking at her funny and stuff like
Snacks,
that.
things.
Because everybody else went according to the narrative that we are getting. Because you must listen to the CDC. Don't you listen to what World Health Organization is saying? Don't you listen to what
Hulle stak.
Fauci is saying? Those were the things that were going on there. And two, decide ek wil nou mos 'n mask dra. And now afterwards, then it was masks. Then there was the PPE.
PPE to stel hulle die
scandal.
geld. Stel hulle die
Then
geld,
they
die
saw an
hele 100 million
opportunity.
gone
Then
for
they
masks.
found, then they found an opportunity to now exploit the people again. To was it those sanitizers? Then vaccines came. Sister Maxine het aangestap. And to say, hulle, you must take it.
Must be with magazine.
Biden was saying, right, the first guy, he was saying, if you don't take the vaccine, you're going to be without a job, you'll never be able to travel, fear mongering, just the whole time. Then, I remember very clearly, I will never forget our dear beloved Bongani Bing was there on 702 that one time. He was like, he went to go get vaccinated, and he said, because there was a debate going around, and he was, obviously, this was public opinion, so as a news anchor, as somebody who is in the public space, he's a media personality, he must relay the news. And so he said, people were saying, yeah, so what happens now if your family members refuse to take the vaccine or your friends? And then he was like, well, in his books, then they must stay away from his house. They mustn't even come into his house if they don't take the vaccine. And it was pushed. If you don't take the vaccine, I know as an artist, when I try to submit self-tapes, they say straight, if you're not vaccinated, don't even bother. So I didn't bother because I don't want to get the vaccine. It's my personal choice not to get the vaccine. Doesn't mean that I'm ignorant and I'm going to go walk around during the height of COVID free. Hello, cough on me. I wasn't going to do something so stupid like that. I walked around with my mask. I'm an hygienic person, so I'd wash my hands anyway, even before COVID. Julle wat nou eers the hande was, and then you want to be the the campaigners, the poster children for hand washing, and you only started washing hands now.
Yeah.
And then I did all those things, but now people are like, yeah, you must get the vaccine. You are what? You are selfish. How could you do this? You are putting other people in danger. I'm like, but I'm not putting a vaccinated person in danger.
You are vaccinist.
How am I putting a vaccinated person in danger because I'm unvaccinated? Isn't the person that has that's vaccinated in a better position than me?
Yeah.
So how am I putting somebody? I don't want to get the vaccine.
I'm more in danger.
To work no fear. This came out, ne? Now you don't need vaccines are not compulsory
Anymore.
And to say Biden, COVID is gone.
Yeah.
It's over. COVID is over.
That was
now,
2 weeks ago. Ne?
so I asked myself, so I was not going to go get the vaccine. For what? For why? Why? Yeah, but it's free. So I must not take everything that's free. Am I now what does she say? A consumer slave. Am I a consumer slave?
Take everything.
Take your consumer slave. I'm not a consumer slave.
Hey,
I'm not a consumer
she's
slave.
spilling fire.
And then I decided, no, I will not take the vaccine. And I trust in God that I wouldn't need the vaccine. I will take the precaution. Yes, I'm a woman of faith. And I'm a Christian woman. And I believe that I'm covered with the blood of Jesus because that is my belief system. But I'm not going to be ignorant and I'll go walk around, like I said to you, when I know that there's a spike or whatever the case may be, put my loved ones in danger. I'm not going to do something like that. But I'm going to take precautionary measures on my terms.
You know what I find
I see is fine. Now they say, sorry, before you get into that, right? Now they are coming out with the blood clot situation. Listen to this. The CDC had a meeting, right?
Stuck.
And they said that by 2050, anticoagulants will increase rapidly.
What's that?
So basically, like blood thinners for blood clots, because people are going to suffer from thrombosis, blood clots, blah, 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 blah. Now you have that conversation in private and you're not letting the public know about it yet. How are you going to spin the story this time? Do you see what I'm saying?
Because now they're going to lie about it.
Embalmists are saying, I'm going to link that video that I watched. Embalmists, the people that embalm you when you die.
Man.
Hey,
People that embalm you when you die, right? The embalmists are saying it was predominantly in America. I'll link Candace Owens' show, where embalmists are saying that they are seeing a phenomenon in corpses that they've never seen before pre-vaccines. So what happens? So what is happening? So what's happening?
Stock up op jou bully beef and baked beans.
Now they say. So now they're saying what they're noticing is thick veins that's rubbery, thick rubbery veins,
yes,
right, in the corpses that they've never seen before. They've only started seeing it mid 2021 when the vaccines were obviously now a thing, right?
Nou die queen nog met sy lê nou met thick veins aan opstaan.
And now they're scared to say, look, offense, right? They're scared to say it because the minute you say something that goes against the status quo and against the narrative that they're pushing, your job is on the line. They cancel you because it's offensive. Cancelled. But it's the truth. It's the truth. These people are professionals. The one guy has been in an embalmer since 2001. He's not sucking something out of his thumb. He says in his entire career since 2001, he's never seen something like this. He says thick rubbery veins. And now another embalmist, she says that she's embalming since 2018, which is fairly new, but she says since May 2021, she says that in corpses, when they try to embalm the corpse, because you must drain a bit of the blood, they can't drain the blood because there's clots. And it's a general phenomenon that's happening. Now there is no link. I must just say this. They don't have any information out yet that it's linked to vaccines or that it's linked to COVID or whatever the case may be. But how is it? Isn't it just ironic? Isn't it just
zombies and the Simpsons did say we're gonna go having the Simpsons
isn't it just like
zombies
wait like I wasn't great at maths, but the math is, their math ain't mathing. These professionals, their math ain't mathing. And I almost failed pure maths.
I did fail pure maths. No,
but in my mind, this is not making sense. And then we've got a situation like that.
Biden says it's over, but if you look at the Asian countries, they're going into lockdown almost every now and again. My friend that stays in China,
Yeah.
she posted now, I think a couple of weeks ago, they back into a lockdown again. They're in lockdown because it's election time almost, and
Yeah.
they don't want anything to hinder the president's election, his new election. And because of that, they continuously putting the people in lockdown. And it's interesting that they are putting people in lockdown because they know that this thing is not done, but yet we're going, we'll say the
COVID
far
kom net
right.
met elections ook.
Yeah, the
No,
far
yeah.
right or the far left wing, and now we're back at square one where we have to go back into wearing masks and all of that.
And
It's
this
the
is
most
what I'm
interesting
saying. This
thing.
is what
eh?
I'm saying in
Stupid.
this admission. I'm admitting that we don't have all the answers. And COVID also, I mean, even with our health
We
health
got the
professionals,
answers, Lee.
it was something completely new. So nobody really knows. We're literally taking this like in our own stride. We're taking this one step at with the best, with the knowledge that's at our disposal, right? The little knowledge and resources that's at our disposal at the moment for this. Nobody's right or nobody's wrong. But why is it that certain people with the popular opinion can lord it over other people that doesn't have that has an unpopular opinion that this is how you must live, this is what you must do, this is what you must do.
Again, it comes back to you. Everyone has an opinion and they all think it's right.
But my thing is, history always repeats itself again.
Yes, it
We've
does.
seen with past pandemics, we were obviously not there, but we've read about it and all
Yes.
that, where when there is a pandemic, these people always want to make a vaccine real quick and they come up with the vaccine and stuff. And in history, it's proven that the vaccine just made it worse in that
In
time.
hindsight,
So yeah,
yeah.
so they the thing that they were saying is literally when there's a spike, you don't vaccinate people because that's when it makes the thing worse, because then the vaccine mutates the whatever virus it
virus.
is, and that's how you get different variants, because now you got vaccinated, it mutates that virus that you have,
Yes.
and you pass that virus on to the next one.
becomes
And now
a
it's
new
a new
strand
And now
strand.
it's a
also
new
then.
strand, basically. So it's history literally repeats itself. So
Yes.
by you saying that, because it was history, it was proven in history.
Yes.
Nobel Peace Prize winner also came out to say this is what happens. He's been working with vaccines all his life as well. And he came out and said, guys, this is not what you should be doing, because history shows that if you do that, man was cancelled same time. I don't even know if he's still within the industry. They shut him down.
He's dead.
Is he dead now?
Yes.
And you see the sad
Sure.
thing is,
He's dead.
he's going,
And we don't know how.
his words is probably going to come to life in a good couple of years' time.
Yeah.
And then they're going to say this like they always do. We apologize for not heeding the advice
Yeah.
of 111. We've seen that this and this and this happened, and
They
we
won't
want to
even
apologize to
apologize.
the
And he
public,
was the
blah,
first
blah,
one
blah.
to talk about the blood clots.
Exactly. Yes, he was the first person
See me?
to. But you see, this is big pharma strategy, and people just don't want to. I mean, how much money did we just not spend during COVID on medication, on vitamins,
Yeah.
on stuff? Big pharma is cashing in.
And
And,
to still
and
ons government
Big
die
pharma
hele
is
geld.
now with this anticoagulants,
500
right?
million.
With the anticoagulants now, also it's a thing, because now by 2050, now people is going to be dependent on those things. Too young, man. That's rubbish. For
And
me,
if you
I say.
if you disagree, then you're a problem.
No
But
ways.
when it happens, and everyone's gonna say, "Oh, you were actually right." eh?"
No, they won't even say that.
No, they won't
They
say
won't
that.
say you're
They
right.
won't say that.
They're gonna just go
Because
with that
they-
narrative now.
Exactly. As if, oh yeah, we're on this now, then we're gonna go. Another thing
Koop vir my
before.
bietjie bladtennis daar by die Alpha Farm Pharmacy asseblief.
Hey.
So 50 tablets
Bruh.
elke dag. One after lunch, one after supper. Ons moet gebladtenne word. Nou gaan ons sê ons kan nou niks doen nie. Oh, you can't get hurt, you're going to bleed out. Oh God.
Hey.
Sien jy?
Yeah, so listen,
Gaan
guys.
gewoon
There's
net boulders
another
doen.
thing
Enkel
that I
met
want
tennis.
in closing, right? In closing, that I want to speak on, that's also gaining quite a lot of traction, and that's now also becoming an offensive thing. You're not allowed to have a differing opinion on it.
Oh, Father.
An article reads, and this was on the careers post, but you can go read it on it. I'll put all the descriptions in the link below, right? It was on the careers post. And the heading is, Department calls for advice on ancestral callings in schools.
Ooh, does it no?
So it reads as follows. Schools in KwaZulu-Natal, this is specifically KwaZulu-Natal, but it's been happening across South Africa, you've seen. Schools in KwaZulu-Natal province have been facing numerous challenges and issues concerning religion and cultural beliefs. This includes learners displaying signs associated with ancestral callings. In July 2022, the KwaZulu-Natal Education Department issued out an invitation for recommendations and submissions for the public, as well as cultural and religious experts, on methods to explore and deal with the impact of ancestral callings on teaching and learning. The deadline, okay, they talk about the deadline for submission, it was the 10th of August. The call comes after numerous schools in the province reported challenges and incidents where learners displayed ancestral callings at schools, which resulted in school operations being disrupted. Keyword, key phrase, which resulted in school operations being disrupted. Some schools were forced to close for several days last term because of the incidents. In the statement released by the department, they provided guidelines on themes that the public and experts should include in their submissions, and then they list the themes and whatever, right? Then one guy, Reverend Kenneth Meshu, I'm sure you guys would know him, he's a member of the African Christian Democratic Party. He said the following in a Facebook post. The ANC removed prayer and teaching of biblical values from schools in order to make space for teachings about ancestral worship in schools. ACDP will never allow ancestral worship to be taught in schools. People obviously went berserk, right? It raised concerns and confusion. And a guy by the name of Elijah, it says, in the latest episode of Elijah Unpacks, hosted by Department of Basic Education spokesperson Elijah Mhlanga, he provides clarity on the Reverend's Facebook post. He says the Constitution does not say that religion has been removed from schools. The good Reverend has already misled the public in the first line of his Facebook post. If you read this and believe it, please stop. Then he says, Elijah added that the Constitution says that religion remains in place in public institutions, including schools, and the same policy is mentioned in the Schools Act. He says, in schools, public observances may occur, listen, provided no one is forced to do them. That's what he's saying. He says that practicing of your religious beliefs and culture is allowed in public institutions, including schools, as long as you are not forcing other people to do it. Okay. Mhlanga says that there are no changes, no changes are being made to policies, as the Reverend Meshu claims, and the discussion is aimed at finding solutions to address the challenges in school that the schools are currently facing. So the KwaZulu-Natal Department of Education says that they provided guidelines on people to submit submissions for how to deal with the current situation that's happening, because it is a problem. I read there, it says here that it resulted in school operations being disrupted. Yeah. Then he goes on and says that the Constitution says that you are allowed to practice your cultural beliefs and whatever, as long as it doesn't force other people to do it. But now my thing is this, it might not force, these ancestral callings might not force other learners to do it, but it's imposing on their right to learn. It's posing a threat to their right to learn, because now you close the school for term, and then what? And now it's because you've got a problem like this because the Reverend is offensive for saying that you took away, which is a fact. You took away prayer in schools. You're not allowed to do that anymore. And I want to know which other culture and belief and religion is allowed to practice their religious. Like, for instance, I don't know, I'm asking a genuine question. Islamic students allowed to wear their kurtas and their hijabs and their things and their kufiyas? Are they allowed to wear to school? Is Hindus allowed to wear their attire to school? Is other religions allowed to wear their attire to school? Is Jews allowed to wear I don't know what is the Jewish, but in public schools, I'm talking public schools because this is specifically public schools. I'm not talking about private schools that are predominantly Islamic, for instance, like the Islamic school or the Jewish school or the Christian school or the Hindu school or whatever. But is it allowed?
I come from a school that's St. Barnabas College. Yeah.
It's allowed.
It's allowed. So we, especially during the month of Ramadan, we knew there was place for all our Muslim friends.
Okay.
And I'm not sure if you know, my family comes from deep Muslim roots. My mom was born Muslim, right?
Yes.
So there was very much room for that. There was very much room for cultural things in our school as well. There was very much room for Judaism, Christianity, all of that. My school was a predominantly Catholic-driven school. Saint Barnabas, it's in the name,
Okay.
right? So we had assembly and the word was read and all of those stuff were placed in, and then obviously there was room, but we never made it like it was never an issue for us. Because we all knew to respect people's religions, respect their cultural, decisions and stuff. And we actually stood together as a school, to support them when it came to the Judaism fasting or the Indian fasting period, or even with Ramadan. We knew they did the same for us. So we had that. I'm not
Okay.
sure about other places. But you know what is interesting? I'm no stranger to ancestral calling happening in class.
Okay.
It always, for me and my colleague Lulu, as you've met, she'll even tell you, it always happens with me. And then, but the thing is, the problem here is, they don't have people that can deal with it. That's the main problem. If you have someone that can deal with it, who understands it, then that closing down of a school shouldn't be even happening.
Okay.
Because we had someone come in to speak about, in terms of she has a PhD in culture and African culture, and she explains all of this, and she explains it's not supposed to be a disruptive thing or whatever, and when it happens, it's a quick transition from get the person out of class, get them into that session, have that one-on-one. It's
Yes.
not supposed to affect anyone else.
Yes.
The government is again doing the stupidity thing where they don't go to the right people to do the right things. They'll rather put a post up for public stupidly so, and then the people are going to be like, oh, it's this opinion, it's that comment, it's that comment. No, get the people who are trying to do this.
Yes.
Get the proper leaders. If it's a ancestral thing, get somebody who understands it, who has delved into it, who knows it, who can tell you if A, B, and C happens, this is what you do. Not close the whole school for a term and then all the students lose it, and then we come back to parents saying, but hey, my kid, but if you make that opinion, then they're going to say, no, you're wrong. Oh, the guns are out blazing. The government should go to the proper people to get proper training or proper advice. They should stop doing stupid things like this. That's
Yeah.
why 500 million rand was stolen from COVID.
So, sorry, just a correction on what I said earlier. I said it was closed for a whole term. It wasn't
couple
closed
of
for a
days,
term.
yeah.
It was several days during the last term.
But
and I
still, that
apologize
shouldn't
for
even
that.
happen.
But, Jess, what do you think about this?
I was in Sir John Adamson, and there was also an incident that happened in our school like that. But firstly, can I say, at our school, same thing like you. It was, if the females wanted to wear their things, they could wear it. If the gents wanted to wear the kufias, they could wear it. Obviously, we'll pray in the mornings. There was assembly and all that things. We'll pray at assembly first and all that.
Okay.
They didn't hide away from the fact that there's prayer and all that stuff. But if you don't want to participate in it, you don't have to close your eyes when everyone else is doing the prayers and all that. It's
Okay.
up to
You're
you.
fine, yeah.
Yeah, on a Friday, the gents would leave a bit earlier to go to mosque. After mosque, they come back in. They kept track of the gents that left and if they came back or if they were bunking or not, all that type of
Okay.
stuff. So
Okay.
there was things in place for them to basically go with their religion.
Yeah.
And then we also had an incident. It wasn't in our class, but it was in a different class, but in matric as well, where the girl had an ancestral calling and all that. But it was at the point where, I don't know if the teachers were trained or what even must happen, but there was a teacher there, a business teacher. She literally isolated the girl, took her out, got her in a room, everything. And literally no one knew about it. Only the people in that class, they went and told everyone else, yo, this happened in the class, all that. But if you didn't speak to anyone, you wouldn't have known this happened.
And that's how it's
It
supposed
was
to
like-
be. Because you're helping the person who just had that
Yeah.
encounter not
Yes.
feel embarrassed about
Yeah.
it,
Yes.
Because you'll find that they at that point don't even know what is happening.
Exactly. Yes.
It just happened out of the
Exactly.
blue. But if you're going to do this and make a big buhai and fuss out of it, people are going to end up feeling like now they're fearing this whole thing because it's going to jump, it's going to do, and
But
guys, you
this-
see.
based on what you were saying, right, and those were obviously like in your days, you are old, remember?
Oh
but,
wow, thanks.
currently with what's currently happening, you cannot take away the one factor that's at play here, and this is that it's multiple people at the same time.
Yeah.
Right? And my question is just, and I'm genuinely asking the questions because I don't know and I want to be educated.
Yeah.
But what I do know from a Christian perspective, right, and what I do know and what I've seen growing up, trust me, I have seen demonic manifestation like you've never Like people
Yeah.
slithering on the floor, convulsing, throwing up, foaming, those kinds of things. And in my mind, and this is what I'm saying again, and I'm putting a disclaimer out here, I do not know, and that's why I'm asking the questions. And if you know, maybe in the comment section to educate me on it, right? But what I know from demonic manifestations and what I'm currently seeing is that manifestations, the demonic manifestations, has a way of transferring
To other
so
people,
now I'm
correct,
seeing
okay.
so my question is just this is what's disturbing for me, is that it's not an isolated incident of one person.
Yes.
It's happening across the country in different schools, public schools specifically. It's not happening. I don't hear about it in private schools. I don't hear about it in
Because
other
in private schools, they
right?
don't have time for that.
See,
That's what you
But I'm hearing
Correct.
it. But now I'm hearing it, and it's again to what Jesse was saying, the accommodating nature of us. We want to accommodate so much of it that we're sitting with a situation like this now that we must now ask the public. It's a public outcry. Guys, please help. We don't know what we're doing here, and whatever the case may be. But now my thing is this: like, is this normal? Is this normal ancestral callings where numerous people get ancestral callings at the same time? Or is there something deeper in the form of what I've seen in demonic manifestations of transferring of spirits, where the next person, yes, all right, next minute you know you convulsing on the floor and you going on like this? Because I've seen videos that I didn't, obviously I was going to play it, but I thought, you know what, they're sensitive viewers, and I'm very sensitive when it comes to spiritual things, right?
Yeah.
Because I know of transferring of spirits, and I was like, ek gaan nou nie 'n ma se kind allowed to watch these things, and then this person's not covered with the blood of
Yes,
Jesus,
and
and
then
now
it's a
they
problem.
somewhat get, you know, because I mean, you're seeing it where, like, there was one school that I saw, and I think it was in KZN, where there was like several students on the floor, like going like this at the same time.
So this is what I'm saying. Why I know that is not how this thing works is because we had someone come in to explain it from. She has the ancestral calling, she understands it, she's done her studies on it, so when she explains it to you, the one thing that popped up from that whole explanation thing, she's like, it's not supposed to be disruptive at all. That is a personal calling that happens, and if you have someone trained on it, they can deal with it in a second, right?
Yes.
And then we go through proper procedures where let the child get off 3 months so they can finish their training or finish their calling, where it is in a space where they can hone the skill and teach it, you know, to make sure that you understand this.
Yes.
And that's the big difference here. That's why I'm saying if you get somebody who can explain it and say to you, okay, this is what we look for, A, B, and C, it's not supposed to be disruptive, it's not supposed to scare people, not supposed to do that. So
And
if
it-
it is
and it's
doing
getting
that,
violent.
if it is doing that, then there's the problem.
It's getting violent.
So there's the big question there.
Where other students are now being hit,
No.
and
it's not
other
supposed
students
to
are now
happen
being
like that.
bitten.
No.
So you see what I'm saying? And then another person said that, could this just be a trend now again? Because now it's all over now. You must check TikTok.
Oh,
né?
daar geef je uit.
You must check TikTok. TikTok is full of this ancestral callings trend, and I feel like it's something that's sacred to a specific, and this is my thing that irritates me about this, that I believe that it's sacred to a specific culture.
Yes, it is.
Now people are making it seem like it's now just, it's again that thing of fear. It's a fear mongering tactic, and now you are, if you are appropriating, if you are appropriating somebody else's culture, or even your own culture, it's wrong.
Correct.
But you're not allowed to say these things because
Because
then
you're
it's
going to get
offensive.
cancelled. And I have friends, personal friends who are, traditional healers and stuff. And from what I've experienced with them, it's a very sacred thing. It's not something that is, we're going to show. No. It's very sacred. Even when you ask questions, they're like, we can touch up until this place, and we can't explain further to you, right? Because it's a sacred thing to us. So if that's why I'm saying I agree 100% with you. If it's sacred to a certain culture, it's supposed to stay there,
But but it's a scary thing because I'm like at the point where with my son, he's obviously, how do you say, crash?
Yes.
People trash.
Kindergarten,
Kindergarten.
crash, daycare.
So he's obviously there, and I have nights where I think, am I gonna send this boy to a high school and all that stuff, or must he be a homeschool and all that?
Yeah, it
because
is
then
a
you
bit
look
of a
at it,
problem.
things are just getting out of hand. It's getting worse.
And
You know,
everyone's opinions is right.
Yeah, and not only that, now you're having a thing of, Jody. I had a conversation with him 2 weeks ago, and he explained to me about the kid that literally was going through things and stuff, and he jumped off the school balcony. he didn't pass away
his
or
death?
anything. No, but he is
Injured himself.
He's basically paralyzed now. He's in a
Hectic.
wheelchair and everything. Then just last week I listened to another thing where, was it last week or in this week on the radio? They spoke about another incident where a kid jumped off the balcony again at the school. And it's like, is this now starting to become a trend as well?
Yes.
And it's scary because it's like, your child must see these things now. And you sitting with the thought of, is my child now going to end up doing this if he goes to school because these things are happening? And
You
all
see, for me, Nat,
like,
this
whoa.
is demonic. I'm going to say it for what it is. I'm
crazy,
going to
bro.
say it for what it is. This is demonic. And the minute you start pushing that and you say it's demonic and stuff like that, and they're like, don't come here with your Christian views.
Like,
Don't
you
come here with
cancel.
your ancestral, with your traditional conservative views and stuff like that. So everything that's now moral and everything that's now truth is now all of a sudden offensive. And that is that's what we're getting to. Everything that defines us, like this Prime Minister of Italy says, the fact that she's a woman,
Yeah.
the fact that she's Christian, the fact that
she's a mother.
those things are now offensive. You're not allowed to say that. People are spelling woman with an X.
Huh?
Because,
Yeah, because you can't say the word.
you can't say the word woman because there's different definitions
Yeah,
of a woman.
man, singing.
And now the essence of who I am needs to be stripped away because it offends somebody else that's dealing with something personal.
No, so why must I now be in trouble because you dealing with your own person? Dus gaan huis toe.
But that
Gaan
is
drink vir jou
brood is-
koppie tee en gaan huil by die huis aan jou ma. Don't come and make your issues my issues and keep your opinion to yourself, my bro.
And that has brought us to the end of this topic. The Tanny's favorite, thank you so much for being
I come
here.
back.
Thank you so much. Are you going to be here next week?
Yes, I'm going to be here next week. We're gonna make it
Jess, do
happen.
you just want to read the comments and then you obviously have to end it here and then give
Okay.
closing remarks?
That was things in the beginning of the show, but Lorraine is saying for your English, English. And then
Hey,
Dale
maybe
Gordon
not.
says, nicely said, Justin Fabio Khan says, so truly. And then Lorraine says, that's not far. We are Rainbow Nation and should celebrate our own identity.
Cool. Thank you so much, everybody. Justin, closing remarks from you?
I just think that everybody who has an opinion should note it as an opinion. That doesn't make it right or wrong. And that we should go out in society with that in our minds constantly. Your opinion doesn't mean it's a fact. And if you want to know facts, then do your homework. And if you don't have anything positive to say, then rather don't say anything at all.
I agree 100%. Thank you so much. And I'm going to echo what Justin said. Having an opinion, there's nothing wrong with that.
Exactly.
You are by all means allowed because it is a free country, democracy, blah, blah,
Rainbow
blah, blah, blah,
nation.
blah. But the thing is, when you're going to get into conversations like this and debates like this, don't get emotional about it. And then you want to now cancel people because they don't agree with you, whatever. Have the conversations. Like, for instance, the thing with ancestral callings, I didn't know what it is about. So I'm asking. Justin has an understanding in it. He's been exposed to it. So he will be able to educate me on it and we move forward from there. But anyway, thank you so much for everybody who has watched up until this point. We really do appreciate your support on the channel. If you haven't done so already, please click the subscribe button. Please like the video. There's only one like here now in the live. Please like the video if you liked it. Also, I don't want to force you now. Also, like the
Because it's
vaccine
gonna be
situation.
offensive now.
No, I don't want to force you. But if you did like it and you found anything, you can dislike it. It doesn't matter. It still helps the algorithm. I'm not gonna say you must like it. And then you disliked it. If you disliked it, please also support in that way. And then please comment and share this video if you feel like it. Even if you just feel like sharing it to be spiteful and to what do you call that, where they clip it and then they respond to it, and like on TikTok the duets and
duets.
Do that too. It's fine. It's okay. Thank you so much, everybody. Until next time. Bye.
Bye.